Civil Rights Act, it was to be liberating, to liberate people, to be all that God meant for them to be.
In 1964, the Civil Rights Act prohibited discrimination based on race, religion, and gender. And 50 years later, Hood College is honoring the bill's legacy with a year-long celebration.
What we want to do in our year-long celebration is both look backwards to what was going on in 1964 and what really made people develop the Civil Rights Act at that point, and also moving forward to see to what extent we've really realized the dream of the act at that point.
During his keynote, Representative Cummings shared his experiences during the Civil Rights Movement and explained the importance of how his past helped shape his future.
This is so important because I think that if we push it aside and don't remind ourselves of where we've been and don't educate our young as to where this country has been. A lot of young people were born way after a lot of these things happened. They don't have a clue. And so we have to elevate them so that they can appreciate their past and appreciate their present, but so they can then go forward into the future.
And staff members are hoping students can connect the fights of 1964 to the fights of 2014.
And that this is what the reality was. And so when they look at perhaps issues of poverty today and manifestations of civil rights abuse today, they understand that this comes from a long history. This is something we've been fighting for many, many years. It is not just something now. It is something that many people have dedicated their lives to.
In Frederick, Maryland, Kirsten Garriss, WHAG News. It was a rainy, somber day in Washington County as Major Robert Letterman was laid to rest.
Major Leatherman was obviously an important part of the sheriff's office, serving out his entire law enforcement career with us and being the patrol commander. He was definitely somebody that everyone looked up to and tried to do their best by.
But I thought that me knowing Bob made me a much better person than the people around me and my family, and for that I was grateful. And that's the Bob Leatherman that I know. I mean, if you knew Bob in that sense, you came away a better person.
Anytime you did something well, he was definitely one of the first people to pull you aside and say, hey, you did a really good job with that, and we appreciate everything that you do for us here.
Major Robert Letterman passed away following a long battle with cancer, and hundreds of people came out to say goodbye.
We were very hopeful that he would be able to come back, and I know that was one of his goals, was to come back to the sheriff's office.
I think it's going to be tough because, I mean, it's easy to fill a position, but to fill a position with the kind of dedication and determination and love for the job that Bob had, I mean, you know, everybody knows what he's done in his professional life. You just don't do that if you don't love what you do.
And his memory continues to live on.
One of the things that he always liked to let the community know is that we are a proud agency, proud of what we do and how we serve our community, and we absolutely are. And to honor him, we're going to continue to do that, to serve the citizens in the best way that we absolutely can.
In Hagerstown, Kirsten Garriss, WHAG News. For this training session, the colder, the better. Members of Frederick County's Advanced Technical Rescue Team use these cold temperatures to practice ice rescue skills.
We want to be prepared to respond quickly and adequately, exercise our equipment, and train with it so that we know we're prepared to respond.
For some of these fire and EMS personnel, this is their first time ice training because instructors say they have to wait for weather like this to get the opportunities to train in real-life situations.
A lot of times we're able to get through the classroom portion, but without having the ice, it's hard to simulate in just a still pond the actual effects of the ice on both the rescuer and the victim. So having the ice, cold weather this year was really an advantage to us.
Part of the training focuses on getting rescuers comfortable using their wetsuits.
With ice rescue, one of the advantages that we have is our equipment provides a very stable platform for us as rescuers to rescue a victim if we actually have to go in the water. So one of the things that we try to do is get them to be comfortable in the water, understand how they need to be able to self-rescue themselves so that they can get themselves out of trouble.
Frederick County hasn't had any ice-related incidents this season, and to be prepared, instructors practice various rescue scenarios.
This is as close to real world as we can get, and it really is real world training.
In Frederick, Maryland, Kirsten Garriss, WHAG News.
White House Press Secretary Malcolm Kilduff has just announced that President Kennedy died at approximately 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, which is about 35 minutes ago.
Well, November the 22nd was a Friday. It was my first day at NBC.
Shelley Philman started as an audio man for NBC News, and he was sent to the airport after news spread about President Kennedy's assassination.
The courier showed up, handed me a tape machine called a Nagra Kodolsky. It's a rather large tape machine. It's used for syncing up film to sound, picture to sound.
Philman spent the next day with a photographer, filming and talking to people around Dallas. And then came Sunday, November 24th.
We were sort of back in the corner, just making some side shots of what was going on. NBC had the big studio cameras there with the correspondent, Tom Pettit. And the press corps was a small group.
And then it happened.
Before this incident in the garage, I don't think I ever saw anybody get shot. And when Jack Ruby moved in, and it was bang bang, and or I should say pop pop, and it was over, and it just hit me that, hey, this man just shot him in front of the sheriff and 20 press corps members, and in front of all these cameras for the whole world to see.
From there, Philman progressed from audio to photojournalist, where he covered more events in history, including the assassination attempt on President Ronald Reagan.
This is sort of a crazy business, because then I started thinking, here I am covering an assassination. What's next? And what's next was a lot more. And I kept saying, well, maybe it's over for now. What's next? And that was my word. What is next? And next was always something that kept me going.
And Philman kept going from assignment to assignment for the next 50 years. Reporting in Albany, Maryland, Kirsten Garriss, WHAG News.